high school. We run over. The question I asked Keisha Lance Bottoms is, how do we get to a point where we recognize an APS student by the success of the system and not by the failure of the system?
Exactly. I mean, I think you make a really good point. Everything, even the decisions and the responses about annexation are about perceptions of failure because APS isn't doing X, even perceived, not even real, that we should change significant policy in the city that's 145 years and within the charter of the system, to me is very bad city policy. So I think if one were to certainly be committed as a full resident of this city, all the good and the bad and the neutral comes with it. It would be my hope that anybody who is the next mayor of this city would, one, commit to not undermining the revenue sources that go into the school system. Annexation is a critical part. Property taxes come with that. We want to be very careful about things like these really bad TADs that were not constructed well and are of no benefit to us. We put a lot of money in, we don't get a lot out of it. As a school system, there are 10 TADs, 5 of them APS helps fund pretty significantly. And so, I think that there's been an unfortunate focus on, like I said, perception of the system, and some of it isn't even real anymore. And you can hear today that we have at least one candidate that's willing to take a policy position that isn't based in fact and certainly isn't based in law. And so I think that's something we all need to think about, and I will continue to kind of push and talk to folks about to be sure that I understand it. I also I'm kind of worried about this director of education piece.
About that. What about director and one side said liaison?
Yeah, and the liaison piece, we have liaisons, I have legislative liaisons, but you can be rest assured a senator is getting a call from me. You can be rest assured that the governor is getting a call from me. When we're working on legislation or policy, I'm sitting in the representative's office. I don't send other people to do that. And so I worry about my experience. I'm not a new superintendent. This is not my first rodeo. We believe that I believe, and I think my board believes, there shouldn't be a shred of light between the board chair, the superintendent, the mayor, and the city council president in our city. And that has been my experience in every capital city, and I think that it should stand for Atlanta too. I've learned a lot doing this job, the good things and the challenging things, and Atlanta has a lot of challenges when it comes to this communication and engagement part with public entities. I think that has to change, and that starts at the top, and that leadership has to be willing to really embrace for us a new day. And I think that just starts before you put in layers. You start and and I like the concept of working with us first to figure out what is the right structure, then creating that structure, not assuming that we can fix it with a position. I don't think that's gonna help us. So
thank you.
Anyway, but it was a great day. I'm glad to hear from people, and I love the 2 letters.
Did you get the answers that you wanted?
I think I pushed hard as a panelist to get clarity around things that were important for Atlanta Public Schools and all the other entities out there that are interested in wraparound services or interested in community services, whether you're a private school, a charter school, homeschooling. No one wants blight in their neighborhood. No one, wants a food desert in their neighborhood. Those are things that...
It's those things that we keep mentioning those, but we can't necessarily go to the successful neighborhoods. Where are the models? But which of your schools is the model school right now?
I think that there are a couple of areas where revitalization and improvements have happened. People talk a lot about the turnaround of the East Lake community down in the southern area of the Jackson cluster, and so I think the Jackson cluster is an example of a community that's on the move. It has Maynard Jackson, a King Middle School and several elementary schools that feed into them. And it's not perfect, but I think like they're trying to lay a framework that addresses better housing, that addresses food deserts, that addresses transportation, and that is cleaning up neighborhoods. And so like I'm encouraged by that. I think, but everything's not perfect. But I am encouraged by what I'm seeing, and it takes a lot of people to make that happen. So
number one issue is what?
Our number one issue, I think, is intergenerational poverty. The data is clear. It's very difficult for communities that are trapped in poverty today in Atlanta to work their way out of it. So it's not just about serving the kid. It's about serving the family.
Yeah, because you can come up with the best curriculum, but if that's your number one problem, because I did years ago in school. We just went to try to turn the school around for the parent side of it. And if that was the issue 20 years ago, my kids are grown now, and that's still the issue now. That's an Atlanta issue. So who do you work with as a superintendent? Who do you work with to get that turned around?
Well, so in my experience has been you work with your mayor, you work with your city council, you work with your legislators, you work with nonprofit partners. There are a lot of people that you work with, and here those kind of communications and relationships haven't happened consistently, and I think it's time for a change. Anyway, it's great to spend time with you. We're so proud of you.
Thank you. APS, and I first got the internet 30 years ago at an APS school. People still wonder where the internet came from. It came